Michael Bates overextends himself. Watch to the right of your screen. It's going to be a hook route. Meyer throws it behind him. Watch right at the end. His body is exposed. He gets hit right at the last minute, lands awkward.
And Miller, who made the interception and set it up. Raymond, Campbell, Williams, and Sparks. Reggie Brooks is back in the game, and he is deep for the Redskins. Frank Wycheck was the man in motion. It's Brooks. Those of you who watched Arizona and Cleveland, welcome to Giant Stadium, where Dave Brown and Dave Meggett have put the Giants ahead 7-0 with 9.5 minutes left to play in the first quarter. It is 2nd and 8. Redskins have the ball at their own 40. Pat Summerall with John Madden. John Freeze back to throw. Incomplete. Intended for Brooks. Michael Brooks again close by.
Well, you know, the first time that they threw to Brooks was on him. The second time they throw to Brooks is on him. Hey, if there is one real good defensive player on that Giant team, I think that guy, you know, has to be Michael Brooks.
Third and 8. Freeze will have to throw it again. Up the middle, caught by Desmond Howard. They've been waiting for 3 years for him to arrive. Maybe this is his year.
Yeah, we were talking to Norv Turner last night. He thought there was one area that he could take advantage, and it was of these safeties of the Giants, where you get by the corners and get to the inside. He thinks you can throw it inside and in front of those safeties.
Right in that area.
Look at this. They almost got to John Freeze. That's why you have to get rid of it quickly. Strahan just got around Lachey.
Freeze back to throw it again. As a man open, incomplete. It was Henry Ellard. That ball didn't quite get there in sync.
Oh, he threw a duck on that one because Henry Ellard did have Felipe Sparks turn. You know, Henry Ellard has been in the league for 12 years, but he can still run a pass pattern without having to slow up to make his break.
Doesn't have that great breakaway speed, but a good pattern man.
Whatever speed it is, he keeps going. He never has to slow that speed down.
2nd and 10. Redskins at the Giant 40. Freeze gets to Ricky Irvin. Irvin hammers it down to about the 32-yard line of the Giants.
And that's the run that the Giants are going to have to stop today, where the Redskins start to one side and then cut back. Remember, they had problems in preseason. The Jets did it to them all day. We did a fair game, and they cut back. So finally, to stop that, they put Michael Brooks at that weak side linebacker just to play against the cutback.
3rd down and 3. Howard was the man in motion. Freeze. Pass complete. A flag on the play. Titus Winans made the reception.
That was great pass protection by the Redskins. No Giants were close. I think the penalty is going to be against Jesse Armstead down there, the Giants defender.
That's what thrown in the area where he was. Let's see.
Holding, number 22 defense. Penalties decline. Takes the result of the play. Completed pass for first down.
Felipe Sparks call for the penalty.
Yeah, we're talking about this pass protection. Watch, the Giants are a 4-man line. But look at that, how they stopped that middle in there, and they gave Freeze a middle to throw to and lanes on both right and left side. He could have thrown that one anywhere.
They've done a good job protecting their quarterback, who's been John Freeze. Outside to Henry Ellard. Ellard gets to the 10. Just outside the 10. Stopped by Jesse Campbell.
Yeah, one thing we'll watch Henry Ellard here. And we'll watch how when he makes a break, he doesn't slow up. You see, he just comes and he's running full speed into his break and then out of his break. And that was the thing that Norv Turner said they wanted to work on in this game. Not as much the Giant corners as the Giant safeties.
First down just outside the 10. Freeze. Incomplete. Intended for Ethan Horton.
That was a perfect throw there. There were 3 guys on Horton, and you're going to see it coming right at you here. Now, John Freeze has to throw the ball at this time. There's Horton. He throws that ball in there perfectly. And you're going to see 3 Giants. 1, 2, 3. That ball was right in his hands, and they just knocked it out of there.
Dropped it right in the basket. Felipe Sparks knocked it loose.
Yeah, you can't ask for a better throw there. And maybe Ethan Horton saw 3 blue jerseys and didn't expect it.
How'd the ball get there? Freeze. To Ricky Irvins to about the 7. Giants leading 7-0.
Think about it, you get in there behind Jim Lachey, the big left tackle, and Ray Brown. That time they took Mark Schlereth, the right guard, pulled him around, and Irvins is going to get in right behind him. Watch here. Here's Schlereth here. He's going to lead the play. Sometimes you have a back lead. Sometimes you have a tackle. Sometimes just a guard like on this play. Watch the left guard. Boom. He comes right in there, makes that little block for Irvin.
Ryan Mitchell in motion. Freeze. Back to throw it. Incomplete. Intended again for Ethan Horton. Knocked away by John Booty.
John Booty saw that one all the way, Pat. He got a good jump on it. Knocked the ball down and just kept on running. Hey, that play, you knew it had to be a pass, didn't you? Because there was no one in the backfield. But watch Booty come across, wow, right there. In fact, he got both hands. He did. I thought he just got one hand on it. He got both hands on it.
That's almost an interception, yeah. Chip Lohmiller from 25 yards will try to put the Redskins on the board. Freeze holding. Lohmiller high and true, in the Redskins score. 7-3. The Giants lead it. 5:51 left to play in the first quarter.
Reinhold Bertlev had a key role in the building of Porsche's new 911 Carrera. Did he design the engine? The radical suspension? No. Instead, Reinhold and his co-workers have perhaps the best job in the world. They test drive every new 911 on the Autobahn. If Reinhold likes your car, we're pretty sure you'll like your car.
I don't say this to many people, but the job we do is the most important job I can think of.
Okay, guys, listen up.
I mean, there's no such thing as a B-plus mechanic on this airline.
Let's do it. Let's go.
Even the most junior mechanic can keep an airplane in this hangar if there's a hint of a problem. You might think a job like this would become routine, but every now and then, I just take a walk through the terminal. And right there, you see what's important.
Garth Brooks' collection, Garth's Favorites, is available now at McDonald's. Each full-length CD is unbelievably priced at just $5.99. Each cassette, $3.99. When you buy...
You're watching the NFL on Fox. Chip Lohmiller will kick off. There's Dave Meggett over on the sideline. High and short. This is against the wind. That's going to be Arthur Marshall. Still on his feet. Finally nudged out of bounds, and a flag on the play.
Now, that was one of the questions we had. If Meggett takes Hampton's place, who's going to take Meggett's place? Marshall is one of the guys because, you know, the kick return is such a big offensive weapon this year that you don't want to lose one of the best in the game.
This is going to be a late hit, I'm sure.
That'll add 15 to that return now.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness on a kicking team. 15-yard penalty. First down.
On the kicking team?
I don't think it's on the kicker,
I don't think so either.
But here it is. There's Chip Lohmiller, and it's on the kicker. Chip Lohmiller got a 15-yard penalty.
That won't be called very often. Second and 10. Megan. No gain. Kurt Gouveia.
You know, there's a guy that you just can't fool is Kurt Gouveia. I mean, you know, he's not the starting middle linebacker. He doesn't play on real long yardage, and he doesn't play on first down. But he's just a guy who's a smart, good football player. Not big, not strong, not any of those things, but you can't fool him. He's always going to read it. He always reads it and knows what you're trying to do.
Third and 11. Brown out of the shotgun. 4 wide receivers for the Giants. Brown gets it out to Meggett. Meggett will not get to first. 4 or 5 yards short of that, but they maybe not in field goal range.
Yeah, this is where that new rule comes in. Right now, Pat, they'd be a 52-yard field goal or punt from the 35-yard line. And this is another time I think that these new rules are encouraging coaches to go for it on 4th down. This is the 3rd time that they've gone for it in 4th down.
4th and about 4. And they are indeed going for it. Brown lines up deep. Starts himself in motion. Whips it outside to Meggett. That's enough for the first and more.
You know, Dave Meggett is really something. If you watch him here, he's going to be here. Now, again, it's a 4th down play. They have 4 wide receivers in there, but with Dave Meggett, you always have to have that 5th guy. You see, they cover the 4 pretty well, and they forget the 5th guy, Dave Meggett. I think if I would look at that, I would say maybe Dave Meggett ought to be the first one that I'm going to look at.
You better know where he is. 1st and 10. At the 15-yard line of the Redskins. Meggett again. And nothing there. Tony Woods made the stop for Washington. No gain. 7-3, the Giants lead.
You know, one of the things about the Redskins, though, they are having trouble in that nickel defense because A.J. Johnson, they've lost him and Alvoid Mays, so they've lost 2 of their backup corners. So in nickel, when they go 6 defensive backs, they're going to have a problem all day because they don't have the players.
Right. They just got them outnumbered. 2nd and 11. They give to Meggett again, and he is slung to the ground by Sterling Palmer. Sterling Palmer is a guy who filled the Redskins for a while with disappointments, but now he's starting to pay dividends and playing better.
And the other thing is Martin Bayless is up there. You see, when you only have 1, 2, 3 defensive backs, you know that you have 8 guys up here. The 8th guy is a strong safety. Now, anytime you have 8 guys up, you're always going to have a free guy. And Bayless, the strong safety, was also the guy that made that play.
3rd and 12. They go with 4 wide receivers again. Here's Brown. With time. Incomplete. Intended for Chris Callaway in the end zone. No flag.
Brown's upset because he knew that Callaway had it open. And the other thing is the pass protection on that play was excellent. I mean, if you look at the time, that Dave Brown has here. You're going to see they're in their 4 wide receivers. They're in nickel. They have pretty good coverage, but down here in the bottom is Callaway. Callaway breaks loose right down at the bottom. Dave Brown just didn't get him the ball.
So we're about to see the Giants' first field goal attempt of this year, with David Treadwell kicking and Arthur Marshall holding. Treadwell very accurate and just adds to his percentage as the kick is good. 10-3, the Giants. Yeah. Daluiso to kick it off. Line drive. They won't handle this one. Well, they do handle it, but they won't bring it out.
Yeah, how do you like those caps the officials are wearing today, Pat? Those are those Ben Hogan type things, aren't they?
Yeah, yep. Like they should be on the golf course somewhere.
Well, they got the bow ties going for them, too.
That wouldn't be on the golf course.
Well, I don't know. I guess the only thing we need for throwback here is if they really wanted to do throwback, they ought to put grass on this field.
Right.
Because when those throwback days, I mean, when they did that, when they wore those kind of caps and those kind of uniforms, I'll guarantee you they didn't play on a carpet.
And Bert Bell's name was on the ball.
That's right. And now they're throwing around Tagliaboos. They used to throw around and kick around bells and
Roselles,
and now they're kicking and throwing Tagliaboos.
That's Brooks, Reggie Brooks. Well, he told us last night he'd like to have the ball 40 times a game if he could. He had 32.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Last week.
He said 32 last week.
Yep.
He said that felt pretty good. He said, if that's what 32 feels like, heck, I'll take 40.
After that first hit that he got from Brooks, the other Brooks, on the first Redskin play, I wonder if he still wants 40.
There's a different look at defensive coach writing upside down with sunglasses on.
Sunglasses out of place. Freeze. Pass is complete to Desmond Howard.
Watch Desmond Howard out here now. As you said, Pat, he really hasn't been what the Washington Redskins have expected, but I think, you know, he feels that, you know, just put me in there, play me, and get me the ball, and maybe I'll do what I did in college. But it all starts right here with protection. You know, Freeze has been getting a lot of time since that first series of downs.
1st and 10. Handoff is to Brian Mitchell. Yep, back in the eye. Not much there.
You know, the Norv Turner came over here to the Redskins, and as you look at this offense, it's kind of the same offense he had with the Dallas Cowboys, and especially the passing part of it. The running part of it is still part of the Redskins. You know, that where they had O-guard, O-tackle pull, that counter tray, those kinds. So it's kind of a mixture of old Redskin and Cowboys.
Here's Freeze again. He has good protection. Puts the ball to Brian Mitchell. And there is no gain.
You know, we were talking to John Freeze last night, and he said there's about 5 or 6 guys that are considered to be, you know, top quarterback coaching. Just look what Norv Turner did when he went to Dallas, how they went from 28th to 9th to 4th to 4th. That was Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin, but Norv Turner had a lot to do with putting it together.
And he's one of the reasons that Freeze chose to sign with Washington.
Yeah, and what? I think I coached those guys.
Well, yeah, you might have.
I think that team was called the Oakland Raiders.
We had some here when I was playing. It's throwback.
We still have some here. See, those Giants uniforms don't look a lot different, Pat. I think when they wore that kind of jersey, though, they were all long sleeves.
They were, and they had Giants on the helmet. In fact, at first there was nothing on the helmet. Or some say in the helmet. Here's Freeze back to throw it. This is Henry Ellard to the Giant 35, tripped up by John Booty.
Hey, and Henry Ellard ran full speed into that pattern, to full speed out of that pattern, right by Corey Raymond. You see him here. Freeze looks to the middle, looks to the right, looks back to the left. He finds Ellard here. Now, Ellard, once he catches that ball, it's a perfect throw. He was running away from Corey Raymond before he caught it, ran right out of his break, and just kept running away from Corey Raymond.
Again, Freeze has had excellent protection. The fake is to Brooks, and Freeze back there alone gets it out to Reggie Brooks. Run out of bounds by Carlton Bailey.
Yeah, I think if we look at the first quarter stats, Pat, to me, this is a big one here, that one turnover, because that was the first play the Redskins had.
Right.
Then the Giants took the ball and made a touchdown out of that. So it was a turnover for the Redskins, and then it was also 7 points for the Giants.
I think if you just, on a week-by-week basis, just took out all the rest of the statistics and just kept track of turnovers, you'd have the guys who will make the playoffs.
It was like last week, Kansas City got 4 turnovers against the 49ers. They had none. They beat them. They aren't better than the 49ers.
Brooks bounces it to the outside. He's got some speed. Flag on the play. Flag on the play. Corey Raymond knocked him out of bounds.
I don't know that that wasn't a little late hit out of bounds, too.
Might be offsetting, but they threw a flag earlier in the run. I think against number 85, Henry Ellard.
Ron Botchin, he's the umpire. Remember when he was a junior college coach in Los Angeles, so he's been a player and a coach, and now an umpire.
Illegal use of hands. Number 39 on the defense. 5-yard penalty. Penalized into the run. First down.
Call against Corey Raymond.
Yeah, that was a good run by Reggie Brooks, though,
Yes,
wasn't it? He
yes.
started into the right side. I think he ran into a couple of Giants and one of his own guys and bounced it all the way outside to the left. Watch him. He's gonna start inside here, and then everyone's gonna be jammed, and he's gonna end up coming all the way to the outside to this side. They start in motion. He starts right. Boom! He runs into a Giant right there who didn't wrap him up, and then that bounced him all the way to the far sideline.
Brings up 1st and goal at the 9. Brooks inside the 5 to about the 4. He's not very tall, but he is solid.
And those guys that aren't very tall and solid are very difficult to see and to find. And when they get behind a big offensive line like this Redskin line, then guys like Reggie Brooks, that are only 5'8", can really do some damage to you, because so far this Redskin line is starting to take over this game.
2nd and goal at the 4. Cedric Smith is back with Brooks, and Brooks gets a carry. He's about to the 2.5. Eric Howard. The Giant who made the tackle. Eric Howard's a little bit of a throwback. Watch Brooks.
Well, this is what it looks like when the back, before he gets the ball, he's looking. He doesn't know where he's going to go, because he's going to go up there and react to the defense. But the defense got a lot of penetration and got an extra safety up in there, and there was really no place to go.
Ricky Erdens and Brian Mitchell are the backs now. Freeze. Henry Ellard, touchdown from Freeze.
Again, Freeze was going to throw that one to the right. He looked to the right, and then came all the way back to Ellard on the left. But again, John Freeze made some good reads, but you have to give credit to the offensive line, because he had way too much time.
Well, you've heard it said so many times before, you give a quarterback, any quarterback in the NFL, that kind of protection, and he'll find somebody.
That's right. And he looked and he looked and he looked, and he didn't find Henry Ellard till the last guy he looked in the far side and the left.
Lohmiller for the extra point, and we have a tie at 10. 12:01 left in the first half.
If you watch the pass protection, Pat, to me, this is what it's all about, because if you didn't have this kind of blocking, watch the time John Freeze has. He's looking right, looking now to the middle, then he comes all the way back to the left, and there wasn't anyone within 4 yards of Freeze during that whole process.
Look at this kick formation, John.
This is interesting.
Yeah.
We're seeing more and more of these kinds of things with these new rules. They all kind of, this is the old bunch deal, bunch and break and kick.
And then the ball blew off the tee.
They were all ready for a big old trick. Yeah. Isn't that happening? You get all ready for a big old trick, and the ball can't stay on the tee. But this is what you call bunch, break, kick.
Is that the real name? Or is that, you just gave it that?
I just gave it that. I mean, a whole bunch of guys get together and bunch up, and then someone yells, how about them turnips, and they break, and then they kick.
Lohmiller caught it pretty good. Lewis watches it sail over his head and out of the end zone.
He got power from that bunch and break.
And that whole bunch will pat him on the back, because they don't have to tackle anybody.
And And they don't have to collide with that wedge. One thing, you know, in football, they ought to give that guy doubling, that guy that has to run down and break up the wedge.
Well, he's got to be a special kind of character.
He has to be one of those guys that gets up a lot looking at his ear hole.
Right. From the 20, Dave Brown, the Giant quarterback. Meggett behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, you watch here now. After the ball flops off the thing one time to win, then you have to have a holder. Now you tell the holder, even as a little kid, don't look. You know, it's kind of like a dentist or a shot or something, and don't let go until the ball's kicked. He let go way before the ball was kicked.
Well, not way before.
Oh, yeah, but he was looking. You're not supposed to look. You're supposed to look straight ahead.
That's true.
And then it happens behind you.
That's true.
Someone sneaked a peek.
You have to have faith. Pass is caught by Howard Cross, but not enough for a first down. Out to about the 25. No flag.
I think the Giants know that they have to, you know, get some ball control going here, keep their defense off the field, because the Washington Redskin offense has gotten to the Giant defense.
Particularly the offensive line and the protection for Freeze.
Right, and they have worn them down, and John Freeze is getting excellent pass protection from the Giants' point of view. He's getting way too much time. The Giants have no pass rush.
3rd and 5. The Giants are 0 for 4 in third down situations. Redskin blitz, incomplete, no flag. Darrell Green hit Callaway from behind after the ball had passed. No flag.
And that's one thing that you do is when you have Meggett in there like here, you try and get a blitz so that he'll come and have to block, because one, you get a smaller guy blocking, but two, now Meggett can't get out and get into the pass pattern. So you get a threefold thing. One, he didn't block anyone, almost got his quarterback killed.
Horan back to punt it. He had a tough time last week. This one's okay. Not great. Mitchell. Look out. He is dangerous. The Redskins take over in pretty good shape. Stopped by Brian Kozlowski. Mitchell says, I should have gotten more. It looked as if he had a wall forming.
This is Brian Mitchell. I mean, they spread it around so that you can't zero in on just one guy.
You look at your three options usually on one side, and if none of the three are there, you hit the back coming out of the backfield, which is what he just did. Freeze to throw it. Howard, incomplete.
Yeah, Howard really turned Corey Raymond around on that one. I mean, he has Corey Raymond going every way but loose on this thing. Freeze has to be upset because Howard really made a good pass pattern.
This is the best we've ever seen him look, Howard.
Yeah, and again, you know, we talk about how it happens. It starts with pass protection. You got Lachey, you got Brown, you got McKenzie. Look at him. Look at that middle. No one. There's no penetration up the middle against Freeze.
2nd and 10. Score tied 10-10. The handoff is to Ricky Irvin. Not much. Bailey was the first man to make contact.
Yeah, again, we were talking about Norv Turner and the way he calls the plays himself, and then John Freeze has to operate, but they distribute it. I mean, if you look for the wide receivers, 8 out of 10, tight ends 0 out of 2, although he did hit Horton, that he would have a touchdown. Running backs 3 out of 5, so wide receivers, tight ends, running back, he spreads it out and spreads it out all over the field.
3rd and 7. Incomplete. Howard tripped.
Now, Felipe Sparks had a little better coverage on that time. He was a little tighter because he knew that he had John Booty in behind him, so he could jump that slant, which he did.
So Chip Lohmiller is already out to attempt a field goal for the Redskins. Breeze is the holder. It's going to be about 42 yards. Right in the edge of the 75th year of the NFL emblem. Just hung inside the right upright. Just barely. But it's good, and the Redskins lead by the score of 13-10.
I think it's Darrell Green. And he has his head down. He's not even going to look. So you don't look at the kick.
Lohmiller's kick is handled by Marshall. He got a good return the first time. Flag on the play. 2 flags on the play. The Redskins get the ball, but let's see if it was dead.
Well, there's a lot of stuff going on down there. Yeah. Officials in new hats that have air holes in them. A holder, Darrell Green. A kick. Multiple flags. Patches on the right side of the officials, left side of the players.
Against the Giants. Don't forget the bow ties.
Bow ties. Multiple things on your back.
I bet you when they started to officiate, they thought it was going to be simple.
Holding. Number 90 on the receiving team. 10-yard penalty. First down.
You know, one thing about it, you know, there is talk about a possible strike, that these officials might strike, and
well, I understand that
maybe they're giving
possibility.
them too many equipment, too much equipment.
They're untethered. I think, from what I heard this morning, that possibility has pretty much been put aside.
I hope so.
First and 10 Giants back at their own 10. Meggett with room. To the 30. Right now, let's return to James Brown in our Hollywood studio for an update.
Hey, Pat, Washington is surprising there. Well, the Rams are not rolling over to the 49ers out here. Chris Miller finds Troy Drayton for the touchdown score, and we're all tied at 10, that in the second. Back to New York, Pat and John.
The Rams always seem to give them fits in Anaheim. First and 10. Redskins lead here 13-10 as Meggett gets the carry, stopped by Tony Woods and Bobby Wilson.
Well, Meggett's finally getting into plus yardage on that run just before this one, because before that he had carried the ball 9 times for only 8 yards. And he broke that one loose, and in fact, he's losing his jersey. He can't keep his jersey tucked in. He's taking the ball so many times.
Well, that's a throwback.
That's good. Let him hang out then.
Brown back to throw. With his man, Aaron Pierce, wide open. In the Redskins secondary, Daryl Morrison finally brought him down. But there wasn't a Redskin within 10 yards. Pierce.
Yeah, if you just watch, they have the 2 tight ends, and you'll see the 2 wide receivers on this side. Now Aaron Pierce is up there on top. The motion goes to his side. There's Aaron Pierce right there. You see they go with the motion guy. No one comes out here with Aaron Pierce. He started left, the motion went off. Everyone went off with the motion, and Pierce was left there uncovered.
It's back to Meggett. Pursuit is there, and quickly from the backside by the Redskins, Ken Harvey.
You know, Meggett has to be a tough guy to, you know, be doing what he's doing today. Dan Reeves says last week he was
got bad ribs.
Such a gutsy performance. I mean, he has 2 torn rib cartilages.
Right.
And that is tough. If you ever had that, that's one of those things that anytime you move or talk or cough or laugh or anything, it hurts. And to play and get banged around like this, you have to be a tough guy.
The only thing that will cure that is rest. Flag on the play. Brown has it batted down. Tim Johnson getting some action. Was in to bat it down.
Number 72 there is Lamar Mills. There's a free agent rookie. They thought it was just going to be a training camp guy. Herb said he just kept getting better and better and making plays in every situation they put him in.
Number 78 defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Yeah, if you watch here, the guy that's going to jump is number 78, Tim Johnson. You see him right there. He jumps off right there. So now Dave Brown knows that he has a free play. Of course, he couldn't get it by those guys who were rushing.
2nd and 5. Comes the fake reverse. Brown shakes off one tackler, has a man. Touchdown. Mike Sherrard. The Giants get back the lead.
And that's what lifting weights does for Dave Brown, because I'll tell you, Sterling Palmer was on him, like you said, and look, and he just took him and got away from him. Watch the play that Dave Brown makes when 97 comes in here. Fakes a reverse. Now watch right there. You see he was able just to bring that arm up over and throw it, put velocity. It wasn't a beautiful throw.
No, it wasn't.
And that thing kind of flopped out there, but it was a perfect location. Bad rotation, perfect location.
Treadwell for the extra point. Arthur Marshall the holder. And the Giants reclaim the lead at 17-13 with 4:14 left to play in the first. Thank you. I'm glad to have it back. Kickoff is going to be handled by Brian Mitchell, who's out to the 30.
Yeah, Pat, on that touchdown to Mike Sherrard, you're going to see him right here. But the big thing is he's against Darrell Green, and he outruns Darrell Green. This is just a speed move across the field. You start the motion. Here's Sherrard. He gets an inside move. And now he gets no help from his safety, Morrison, because he also runs by him. And then Dave Brown makes a perfect throw after getting by the pass rush. But Sherrard, you know, he had all those injuries and the hip last year and everything. When you can outrun Darrell Green or run away from Darrell Green, you can still run.
Broke his leg twice. And he can still run. Here's a screen pass trying to be set up, but the Giants read it perfectly. Flag on the play. Penalty marker on the play. Maybe they read it too perfectly.
Well, Mike Fox was in there. They're trying to throw a screen, and Mike Fox made him throw it. And that's a signal for a illegal man downfield, and that'll happen on a screen. The linemen go out to get in front of the guy who's going to catch it, and they go downfield, especially if the ball isn't thrown in timing.
Those guys, the officials, dress like that.
Ineligible member of the passing team downfield, number 63. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
They look like they're coming out to make a ruling instead of call a penalty.
Yeah, that was Raleigh McKenzie, and that's the either guard or center that, you know, jumps out there in the screen, and when he goes out there, either leaves too quickly or goes downfield.
Talk about, most teams have a get-back coach, but Dan Reeves handles everything. He's the one yelling "get back" now to all the players. Freeze to Henry Ellis. Gave it a little shake on the sideline. Got a couple extra yards. Run out by Corey Miller.
I'll tell you, they're really working on this side on Corey Raymond. You see, here's Raymond right here, and he's been given too big a cushion all day. And you see him back off, back off, back off. And now when he turns, see, when he turns his hips inside, then Ellard just makes his out move. And they've been able to throw on this left side that out move either to Ellard or to Desmond Howard all day.
On first down, the Redskins will go back to throw it again. And that's good. To Henry Ellard. Ball loose, but he was down.
wonder if Heath Schuler's ever going to get in this game this season the way that John Freese is throwing the ball. We saw him throw the out on the left side. Now he comes right back and throws the out on the right side. See, he gets Felipe Sparks going up, and then he just breaks to the outside. And again, he helps his quarterback by coming back a little. That's what we're talking about, Henry Ellard. The thing that he can do is run out of a break. See, now that was knocked out after he was down.
He was on his back. The handoff is to Brooks. Picks his way to about the 32-yard line. Stacy Dillard made the stop. With that reception, Henry Ellard has become the 10th player in NFL history to surpass 10,000 yards receiving.
You know, look at that. James Lofton first, Steve Largent second, Charlie Joyner's third. And when Henry Ellard came over to the Redskins, Darrell Green said, he said, "You look just like Charlie Joyner. You run patterns just like Charlie Joyner."
That's pretty good. Pretty good company.
And of course, he had a guy, Ernie Zampese, who also coached Charlie Joyner.
Henry Ellard again. Boy, what a pattern and what a throw that was. 2 minutes left to play.
Doug Freese is saying anything I do is working today.
2 minutes left in the first half. And sunshiny John Gisick is the offensive center. Reggie Brooks is the deep back. McKenzie still in. He's playing right guard in place of Slurry. Brooks. I think we had our mic a little too close.
You know, the one thing about the Redskins is they use different offensive linemen. As you said, Gisick is here. Now Raleigh McKenzie moves here. But again, you watch the ball come in here. Good takeoff and then a bounce to the outside. But this Redskin offensive line has really taken control. Look at how they're moving those Giants out of there. I mean, there was a hole in there. Reggie Brooks could have stayed in that hole. But they are really coming off on the ball and driving this Giant line back.
This offensive line is a lot better than anybody thought. That's Ricky Irvin on the old counter tray. John Booty up to make the stop.
Yeah, you know, the interesting thing about this counter tray, Pat, is the guard pulls first. The tackle gets behind him. Now, the guard makes his read. The tackle reads the guard's read. Then the back, that's the third guy in, he reads the tackle's read. So you have the guard leading, and then he's going to read the play. Then the tackle coming behind, he makes a read, and then the back reads the tackle's read.
3rd and 3. Freese will throw it. Touchdown. Ethan Horton. This one is true.
Now the Giants had 12 guys on the field, or they had someone trying to get off. I think it was Jesse Campbell trying to get off. Freese again, good pass protection, able to look, and he found Ethan Horton in the background.
He had one for Horton perfectly earlier.
Well, that's Horton's number 89. He's going to run right to that back line and just kind of sit there. And that's not much of a pattern. He just went right to the end line or the back line. Freese again with good protection, just look up and saw number 89.
Lohmiller for the extra point, and the Redskins take the lead now, 20-17. 1:08 left to play in the first half. It's Washington 5-3. Don't forget, coming up on the Dockers halftime, James and Terry will have all the scores and highlights from around the league on this 3rd week of the '94 NFL season. That's all coming up on the Dockers halftime. Brown still the Giant quarterback.
I'll tell you, without having Rodney Hampton here, there's a little more burden on Dave Brown. And I think the way the Redskins are handling the ball and the Redskins offensive line is handling the Giant defense, I think more of this burden is going on Dave Brown. Of course, at 20-17, we've seen these games over the years, Pat, so many times. The Giants and the Redskins here and at RFK, these have always been great games. they had a short chain there.
Yep. That little kink in the chain.
Yeah, well, then you can get a first down by going 9 yards.
Dave Brown chased out of the pocket. Screen pass was the call. Meggett has the ball. Meggett to about the 37. Less than a minute left to play in the first half. Martin Bayless made the stop. Brown with...
That's what you do on a screen pass, and that's what Meggett does. You fake like you're going to block, and then just slide out and get behind your lineman.
Clock stopped with 34 seconds left. And the Giants take a timeout. They will have one left after this one is complete.
There's Eric Howard. They're, checking him for fuzziness. Anytime they start putting fingers up there and checking your head and neck and back and forth. Checking for neck or head or whatever.
What's the score? Where are we? How many fingers do I have up?
That was the old trick. The guy always, anytime they do that, they'd always put 2 fingers up, so the answer was always 2.
No matter how many fingers.
Yeah. There's a guy who's done a heck of a job,
Lachey.
Jim Lachey. I mean, when you talk about blockers, one of the best offensive linemen in football, and he has one of the best offensive line coaches in football
Jim
too,
Hannafin.
Jim Hannafin, who's right in there behind us.
2nd and 6. Here's Brown back to throw with time. Caught by Chris Callaway. Out of bounds. Clock stops, and they'll move the chains.
And I think Dave Brown can do this too, because his offensive line is a good pass protecting line. Again, they don't have the banger. They can't bang in there with Rodney Hampton, but maybe they may have to pass protect and throw some of this stuff that looks like it's coming pretty easily.
29 seconds left. Giants have one timeout remaining. Here's Brown to throw. Swings it out to Sherrard. Sherrard trying to get out of bounds, and Darden stops the clock again at the Redskin 33. They use 5 seconds for that play.
And now with their field goal, they probably need one more completion. And the Giants do have one timeout, so that's what Dan Reeves is thinking. Was the first thing you ought to do is get in position to get a field goal. Then if you have another one, you'd like to take a shot at the end zone. And if that doesn't work, kick a field goal.
Plenty of time for Brown. Now he takes off. And he'll get out of bounds and stop the clock. And he used 8 seconds.
And that should get them the field goal that I was talking about.
Yep.
Now they got the field goal. Now they still have the one timeout. So I think before they kick a field goal, they can still now, on this down, take a shot at the end zone.
John, I was down on the field before the game asking Dan Reeves about Treadwell, who had those back spasms during the week, if he was ready. He said physically he's ready. I'm not sure if he can handle the wind. And the wind is against him going this way. There's Brown. He's going to take off or try to take off again. And down he goes. And now they're going to have to use that timeout. Tony Woods put the heat on him.
Oh, and Tony Woods just added 3 yards to Treadwell's field goal try.
You know, this could take it from Treadwell to Deloiso.
Yeah, you're going to see the pressure come from right here. I think this was a quarterback draw. Tony Woods was taking an inside move, and you see him just come in and make the tackle right there. I think that was an organized planned run.
I think it was.
And again, what they were trying to do is, I'm really not sure, because they already had the field goal. And again, to me, that's the place that you take the shot at the touchdown before you go to the field goal. And a quarterback draw isn't going to get you a touchdown.
11 seconds left. They don't have Treadwell or Deloiso in the game.
Yeah, they lost 3 yards there. I still think that they can kick a field goal from this position, but I also still think that you got to take a shot at the end zone before you do it.
It would be about 45 yards from here, but against the wind. 11 seconds left in the first half. Brown throws it to Arthur Marshall, and he's trying to get out of bounds and can't. And the clock's going to run out. They can't get the field goal team on.
Well, they had to take a shot in the end zone. You can't take a shot in the field with no timeouts.
That won't be popular.
Boy, did they foul that one up.
Quick out, man-for-man coverage. Nice job, Steve Young.
And Chris Miller finding Troy Drayton, beating Ken Norton, and it's all tied at 7 apiece.
He's not even one of the guys that's active. There's Eric Turner going up, making an interception of a horribly thrown Jay Schrader pass. Takes it down, 93-yard interception, return for a touchdown as Cleveland spanks Ryan's Cardinals.
32-0.
Then every other time they had the ball in the first half, they scored.
And now, John, one of the key plays of the first half was this, the last play of the first half.
Well, I thought they had to go to the end zone because they had no timeout. But you watch when you get a guy like Darrell Green, he knows they have no timeouts, and there's no way he's going to let Marshall get that ball out of bounds.
And that's when the clock ran out. Washington's first half possessions, they started at their own 20, their own 38, their own 20 again, their own 42, and their own 30. And the results on the right. The Giants started their own 11, their own 26, their own 20, their Washington 40, and the Washington 32.
You know, the thing that you have to like is what we talked about is how the Redskins shoot out. And I know Dave Brown is only starting his third game. It's his third game as a starter, but I still think that he's going to have to take a little more burden in this second half.
Well, that's what Dan Reeves thought yesterday. Here again, Darrell Green will hold the kickoff for Chip Lohmiller. Washington up by 3 points, 20-17. And the Redskins again getting that bunch behind Lohmiller, or to his right, and then they start their distribution move. That's going to be Thomas Lewis. He's got some speed. Lewis still on his feet and fighting to the 43-yard line where the Giants will start. Stopped by Sebastian Savage.
Remember when we saw Lewis in the preseason against Chicago?
Yeah.
I thought, I mean, this guy was the #1 draft choice of the Giants, and I think at some point you just got to get guys in the game. This guy looks like he can make big plays and be a game breaker. I think at some point you just have to put him in at wide receiver and just let him play.
I remember that game in Soldier Field in Chicago. He was exhausted, but he was still able to turn it up.
Remember he and Callaway at the end of the game, the Giants were trying to win, and both their receivers just ran out of gas.
There's Rashid in motion, and this is Meggett bouncing around as only he can do. Gets up to about the 48. He was hit behind the line of scrimmage. Andre Collins made the stop finally.
Yeah, you want to watch Rashid here. He's going to lead, but boy, does he get met. I mean, the leader gets hit right there, and then Meggett has to find another hole. But watch Rashid right there. Whap, he gets knocked backward. There's no way that Meggett can follow that lead, but he just kind of slithers and turns and gets in there sideways to get a 5-yard gain.
2nd and 4, 5, call it. To Chris Callaway, who is sort of taken over as the leader of their receiving corps. A lot of speed and a lot of toughness.
You're just going to see Callaway here. He's just going to come up and do what they call a hook pattern. You see him, the outside, Sherrard goes to the outside. He just comes up and just stops, and he finds that hole in the zone. You got a linebacker outside, a linebacker inside, and you sit down in that hole between the linebackers.
1st and 10 at the Redskin 38. Draw play. The lead draw to Meggett. And the Redskins handle it well. Led by Tony Woods.
You don't know what Dave Meggett makes. He makes a lot of money, but in these last couple of weeks,
he has earned it.
He's earned it because he's not only, again, we talked about this, he's not only being Rodney Hampton, but he's also being Dave Meggett, so he's carrying a double load.
And he's the deep back on 2nd and 9 with Kenyon Rashid in the backfield with him. And Meggett goes in motion. The Redskins jump offside. Brown wheels it over the head of Callaway. Incomplete. flag downfield as well.
I think that was Sterling Palmer who jumped offside. I think it was the right side of the Redskin defensive lineup. Like Palmer is coming off the field, so it probably was him. You can see an official wear glasses. Admit it.
Yeah, they look a lot better.
Got a multiple foul. Offside, number 97 defense. That penalty's declined. Illegal contact, number 28 offense or defense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That's the Darrell Green, number 28. Here's the offsides.
There's the offsides right there. That'll be against Sterling Palmer. Now, the reason they turn that 5-yard one down and take the other one is Darrell Green, the holding downfield. That's an automatic first down.
That one got me fooled. I didn't see any holding.
That was before that. It was before the ball was thrown. When he's coming off the line.
Had to be. Meggett is inside the Redskin 20 to about the 17. Knocked out of bounds by Darrell Green.
Yeah, one thing about Dave Meggett, when he gets the ball in the open field, you get the feeling that he just has one thing in mind, and that's to streak that thing right towards the goal line.
You know something is going to happen.
I mean, when he gets it out there in the open like that, and you wonder how he gets out there in the open like that, but when he does, he takes that straight to the goal line.
Yeah, that's the first thing you think of as a defensive coordinator. We got to keep track of where he is. Meggett again, down to about the 15. Picked up a couple. Stopped by Bobby Wilson and Lamar Mills.
You know, one thing that more and more teams are doing to the Giants is they're getting an 8-man front. And the way you get 8-man is you bring your safety up. Now, you see right here, they got their 7, and now we're going to see number 34, Martin Bayless, their strong safety, come in. And he's going to get up there. Right here, you see he's right there. So that gives the 8th guy, and he becomes a free guy.
2nd and 8. It's Meggett. There's the option pass. Touchdown Giants to Aaron Pierce.
Now, every time they play the Redskins, he does it. They played him twice last year. Meggett threw a touchdown pass. We knew in this game they were going to do it. They were just waiting for the right situation. Dan Reeves called it. He said, here's the right situation. The old Dave Meggett run pass.
That was Rodney Hampton in the best over on the sideline. He should be back in a couple of weeks. And the Giants have a bye next week. But right now, it's Dave Meggett's to enjoy.
And you can see he's 3 out of 4. 3 touchdowns, and all of them are against the Redskins.
Treadwell. Marshall holding, and Treadwell is right down the middle. And the Giants lead 24-20. Cool afternoon at Giants Stadium. 24-20. The Giants just recaptured the lead. The line drive kickoff. This one should be returned in pretty good shape. To the 40. Brian Mitchell. Throwback Sunday. Watch this throwback. Charlie Connolly, the quarterback. I beg your pardon. That's Don Heinrich. And this is Frank Gifford. The option pass to Phil King. So that's been around Giant history for a long time.
Well, you know, and then Dan Reeves did that. And then we look today, we throw back, and we look today. Again, a pitch to Dave Meggett. The guard pulls. Aaron Pierce just sneaks out. Martin Bayless buys around. I mean, he reads run. He sees guard pull, run. He comes up. Aaron Pierce just gets right in behind him.
John Freeze has had an outstanding half so far. Brooks had it and dropped it coming out of the backfield.
The amazing thing about the Redskins is that after that first drive, they scored every time. But look, he threw 11 times to his wide receivers, only 1 to his tight end, but that was a touchdown, and 3 to his running back. I think the big one is those wide receivers besides the pass protection of this offensive line of the Redskins, the wide receivers have really been doing a good job in the corners of the Giants, too.
2nd and 10. He'll have to work in that direction now. Pass complete to Ricky Irvins. Not enough for the first down. Brought down by Corey Raymond and Michael Brooks.
But John Freeze is still getting all kinds of time. I mean, he's really, the Giants are just letting him have too much time because he's standing back there and he's looking and he's looking and he's looking. And as you say, any quarterback in the NFL can throw against any defense in the NFL if he has time. And John Freeze has had time all day.
6 out of 8 on this situation. 3rd down situations. 3rd and 1. Handoff is to Brooks. Brooks, I don't know. It's very close. But this is one of those situations where if you're Noah Turner, you almost have to go for it.
Well, he has to get back to that line because the first down marker was right on the 50-yard line. So if it's this side of the 50, it's no good. If it's this side of the 50, it'll be a first down. And it's this side of the 50,
so it's no good.
It can't be a first down. And he got a left foot job, too. You know, again, you play short yardage here. Everyone wants to get down low. The Giant defense controls this, and there's no place for Brooks to fall forward for the first down.
The Giants lead at 24-20. It's a Redskin ball. This is their quarter to have the win. The 3rd. The Giants will have it in the 4th.
It looked like
well,
he had to make that line, but when they brought the markers in there, he didn't have to make the line.
To check the chain for a kink.
Now, because when they had the first down marker was right here on the 50-yard line, and it's short of the 50. But it's going to be a first down.
Maybe it's a throwback chain.
Yeah, I think it is one of those 9-yarders they had left over.
Got mud all over it. 1st and 10, nevertheless. This is Brooks. Can't find any room as he tried to pick his way left first and then went back to the right. Now he can't even get out of there.
Yeah, well, he did one thing he said he'd never do. He said when he runs that counter, he always wants to stay behind Jim Lachey. Now you're going to see, here's Lachey. Lachey comes this way. Brooks starts and gets right in behind, but he leaves him. And he said last night when we were talking to him, he said, when I get in behind Lachey, I would never leave him. Now watch him. He gets in behind him right there, and he left him. You can't say you're not going to leave him, then leave him so quickly.
2nd down. Freeze back to throw. Desmond Howard, and that was not John Freeze's fault. That was a strike. That was right there.
And you see Desmond Howard jump up, and he start, you know, that's a new thing in the league now. They start, you know, they pat their chest like that, meaning it's their fault. So if you don't know whose fault it is when you're watching a game, you just look at the guy that pats his chest, and that's whose fault it is.
I think everybody knew.
I think everyone did too. When you see the guy open and the quarterback throw a perfect pass and the guy drop it, you don't have to pat your chest. We know.
3rd and long. They need about 8. Freeze. It's Henry Ellard. And he bounces up in a hurry.
Again, great throw by John Freeze and a great pattern by Ellard. But the pass protection is the thing. Look at the time that John Freeze has. Time that he can step up and make a throw like this. Ellard going right down the middle, and he hit him perfectly. But if you can do this, watch this protection here. Boom, Lachey here. They keep that middle free, that clean, and now John Freeze can step up. You see, and there's no one around him. If a quarterback can have clean feet and step properly, he can make big plays.
36 yards from Freeze to Ellard, and Brooks surges straight ahead to about the 7. Michael Brooks on the bottom of the pile.
You know, and these Giant fans, they know their defense. They're not in love with this defense here today, but because they haven't stopped them all day. Mike Nolan, the defensive coordinator, and I think the fans got so excited on that 3rd down play, they could see that maybe we might stop them for the first time today and then Freese gets time, and he hits Henry Ellard.
2nd and 5. Freese back to throw it. Looks right, throws right. Batted away at the last second by John Booty.
That's the second one that John Booty got today in the end zone. Here again, he's trying to hit Ellard. Ellard's coming on a cross. You see him cross here, and Booty was just waiting. Booty was sitting in there. That was a bad throw by Freese. I mean, you have to see the guy you're throwing to, but you have to see where he's going to. And Booty was right on the goal line, and Ellard was on the back or end line.
3rd down. They need 5 for a first. Ricky Irvin will not get the 5. That was a strange call.
Now you wonder with the way John Freese has been passing all day and the way that the protection has been, you wonder why you would have to run a sweep in this situation. Because, you know, sometimes you'll get a pass rush and you'll pass rush yourself right into penetration of a sweep. And that's exactly what they did. They got penetration. Felipe Sparks, the corner, read that sweep and got up and made a good force.
They got both guys, both guards out in front of that sweep in good shape.
Wonder where Norv Turner had that one on his paper.
Must have been on the defensive strip. Lohmiller for the field goal. And it's not good. No good from Chip Lohmiller. And the score remains the Giants 24, the Redskins. Give a Kid a Lift promotion and sponsored by Blockbuster Video. Includes a fundraiser and sweepstakes wherein participants win a free ride in the Blockbuster Video blimp, which you just saw overhead Giant Stadium. This is Megan. Dips it in and then takes it back outside. Darrell Morrison made the stop.
If you look at Dave Megan just on that last drive rushing, he ran for 8 yards, caught passes for 15 yards, and then of course passed himself for 16 yards and the touchdown. That was a trick play that Dan Reeves had been saving until he established Megan as a runner.
This is Rashid's first carry. And he got enough for a Giant first down, I think. Yes, he did.
I'll tell you, now watch Megan. We talked about Megan. Now watch him lead. We talked about him running and catching and receiving. And now look at him go in there and try and block a big defensive lineman.
Leonard Marshall, he tried to block.
That was his old teammate. Yeah, right. That's not much of a block. I mean, that kind of looked like a flop deal.
That looked like an old teammate.
I'll come flying in and miss you. That's a tough assignment, though.
No flag. Incomplete pass. Looked like one of the Redskins jumped off sides, but apparently not.
Dave Brown thinks one of the Redskins jumped off sides. Jumbo Elliott thinks one of the Redskins jumped off sides. Let's see. Here's the ball. I'd have to move on the ball. One of the Redskins did jump in the neutral zone.
Like Tim Johnson.
It was Tim Johnson. Dave Brown wanted that free play.
2nd and 10. Megan saw something that closed up very quickly. Andre Collins led the defense.
Yeah, Tim Johnson looks like he's enjoying playing, Pat. He pulled a hamstring muscle the first day of training camp. He was running some kind of drill, and I guess it was supposed to be 10 or 20 yards, and he thought it was a sprint, and he went 40 yards and pulled a hamstring around 30 yards, and then started to come back, pulled it again, and today is the first time that he's played all season.
And Norv Turner said to us last night he won't be doing that drill again. Look out. Brown. Ken Harvey came from the outside and around the corner.
Ken Harvey's the speed pass rusher. He's a linebacker, and then when they get on fourth down or on third down on passing downs, they put him as a defensive lineman. They have one defensive end here, Ken Harvey here, and he just becomes.
Horan back to kick. Brian Mitchell deep for the Redskins. Horan's kick is much better. Handled by Mitchell. Lost his footing, and down he went at the 32. And so the Redskins will take over there. Total yards, the edge to Washington. Dave Meggett's third touchdown pass off the option in the last 2 years. Redskins have the statistical edge, but the Giants have the lead, and the Redskins are going to have the ball first and 10. Freeze. Fakes to Brooks. Throws complete to Henry Ellard.
Tell you, this has been a long day for the pass rushers of the Giants and a long day for Corey Raymond. He's a right corner here, and it seems like every time that Fraser, the Redskins, whether it's Desmond Howard or it's Henry Ellard, anytime they want to come out here, drive him up, get him turned, and then as he turns, running out, it seems like they've been able to do it all day. Watch him. They bring him in here and then just stop and just come right back and just catch it in front of him.
The handoff is to Reggie Brooks. Breaks one tackle and gets into Giant territory. Run out of bounds at about the Giant 44 by Carlton Bailey.
The fans are starting to boo their defense now because they know that they haven't made the Redskins punt all day. Reggie Roby has been on the sideline. They also know that after this game, the Giants have a bye. Dan Reeves is going to give them a day off for every win they have. So they want to, get through this one, get 3-0 and all those types of things. But they better get this defense going.
Better stop looking ahead for the bye and start playing this last quarter when it's coming up. Brooks again takes the pass from Freeze. Stopped by Michael Brooks. I was surprised at how big John Freeze is when we met him last night.
Yeah, I mean, he looks big enough to play tight end or guard or something. But and he's a calm guy too. I mean, he knows that when he came here, even before they drafted Heath Schuler, Norv Turner told him they were going to. And he said, the thing I liked about Norv Turner is that he was a quarterback's coach and he was honest. And he said, as long as he's honest with me, and he has been, I don't care.
And he has been. Here's Brooks again. He's here now. Michael Brooks up in a hurry. It'll bring up a third down.
Yeah, they're doing all right on that. I mean, Michael Brooks is playing well. He's playing well against the run, not letting him have any cutbacks. When they throw those short passes to Reggie Brooks, he's right there with him. That part of their defense hasn't been a problem. This is the part of their defense that's been the problem. Pass rush, pass coverage.
Freeze brings him up at the Giant 41. Pass coming. Freeze going for Ellard. The pass is picked off and a flag on the play. That's Felipe Sparks. And Felipe Sparks with the interception, but keep in mind there's a flag way back. Deep in Giant territory.
But that was the play that the Giants needed. They had to do something on third down. They had to do something against the pass. They had to come up with a big play. Of course, it's not going to count.
Nope.
But it was still, it was still something that their defense, that's what their defense has to do, and they have to do it again because the Redskins are going to keep the ball.
Felipe Sparks made the interception. They've been working on both sides of that Giant defense, including Felipe.
Illegal chuck. Number 39 defense. 5-yard penalty.
Ball against Corey Raymond.
Yeah, Corey Raymond is playing on this side. The ball was thrown to the right side of the offense. Corey Raymond plays on the left side. And you're going to see it right here. It's going to happen right here on the numbers. You see Corey Raymond is number 39. Now, after 5 yards, you can't hit him. So he hit him and hit him and hit him, and I guess he just rode him beyond the 5 yards. Boy, that looked like a very touchy call, because you can hit him within that 5-yard area.
And then he, as you said, just rode him past the 5 yards. Close.
Yeah, and it was away from the throw and everything. That was a little touchy, I think.
First down, Redskins. 2:16 left in the third quarter. The Giants lead is 4. And Freeze is back to throw it to Ethan Horton, and there's a flag on the far side of the field. Pass complete for about a yard gain, that's all. But there's a penalty marker down again.
And they knocked John Freeze down, too. Keith Hamilton got there, and just as Freeze was throwing that ball, Hamilton hit him.
This against the Redskins.
It'll be an illegal motion. Of course, it's an incomplete pass, so the Giants will probably turn it down.
Illegal motion. Number 80 offense. Penalties decline. Brings up second down.
The pass was complete. It brings up second down.
You know, you think that Norv Turner is a relaxed guy. He sure isn't.
One thing this communication between the coach and the quarterback has done is speed up things. They get in and out of the huddle in a hurry now. And the Redskins are ready again and ready to go. The blitz to Ricky Irvins. Pass is complete. Irvin stopped by Bailey. And another flag on the play.
Now, well, there's a fight downfield. Corey Miller almost got it because he knocked John Freeze down after he threw the ball, but that wasn't where they threw the penalty. The penalty flag was down around the 30-yard line.
One thing about those hats, these officials can get closer together.
Yeah. But their neck's always going to be a little tighter.
Yeah. You mean the bow ties?
Yeah.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Number 89 on offense.
Ethan Horton.
Goes to the face. 15-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Look at this.
It's getting heated down here. That's the third penalty and the third play in a row.
Blow to the face.
Ethan Horton, the tight end. At first, the penalty when the Giants intercepted a pass. There was a penalty on that play and Corey Raymond. And then 2 penalties in a row against the Redskins, knocking them back.
It is still second down.
Now this crowd's getting into it. Yep. They remember their defense. They remember the Jim Burks and the Lawrence Taylors and those guys. And what could they use an LT here? Could they?
Second and 20. They could always use LT. Here's Freeze back to throw it. It's the pass to Henry Ellard, and I think he got enough for the first down. He's very close. Felipe Sparks, the cover man.
Heck, on that play, they could have used a Mark Collins. Just see it out here again. Henry Ellard, he drives. You see Sparks is looking to the inside and driving back, and then they're just cutting him right off at the end and cutting off the patterns in front of him. See, it's a zone. He's looking in, looking in, looking in. Ellard gives him a move and then just cuts it off, and Freeze again throws a perfect pass, and again, good pass protection.
What a good day for Henry Ellard. For those who thought he might be through. But he's a long way from there. Brooks. Into the secondary is hit and hit hard, and backwards he goes. John Booty came up to hit him in the face and turned him just backwards.
Yeah, you're going to see him hit this middle here. McKenzie gets a block, then he comes and picks off Brooks right there, and then Reggie Brooks runs off of that. But watch Booty. I mean, he zeroes him in and puts his helmet right between the 4 and the O.
It's a sudden stop. And that's the end of the third quarter with the score. The Giants 24, the Redskins 20.
The blimp will go through them. Yep. The blimp will go around them. Airplanes go through them. See, this thing will go around them. That thing could go through. That thing right there could go through that thing. that thing could go through that thing. What I ride on can't go through clouds. And I will never be up there.
And it's not going to be asked to do
I
that.
can go through clouds.
Here's Freeze. Outside. To Brian Mitchell, who gets inside the Giant 10 to about the 8. Corey Miller made the stop. It's going to be pretty close to 8.5 yards, perhaps. Not enough for a first down.
This Norv Turner has really done some job with, taking a team that last year they couldn't do anything offensively. And to be honest, he really doesn't have the best players, but he gives them all a real chance.
2nd and 4. Brooks. Flag on the play. And the Giant players applauding. You can see it probably then against Washington. Michael Strahan made the tackle.
Reggie Brooks made a move against Carlton Bailey there. I mean, Bailey come in to fill the hole, and Reggie Brooks just stopped. And Bailey fell down, and Brooks went around him.
Holding number 79 offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
Hey, the Redskins have been amazing. That's a 4th penalty here. And you're going to see, here's Jim Lachey that they call for holding. But they've done all this drive with 4 penalties. There he's blocking against Strahan. And then I guess he grabbed him with that left hand just as Reggie Brooks was coming by.
2nd and 14. This has been a remarkable drive with all those penalties being considered. Here's Freeze back to throw it. Incomplete. Brooks has taken some shots today. Reggie Brooks hit by Corey Miller in the back. He has really been jolted a couple of times.
Yeah, and that's probably, of all the Redskins passing, that's probably the only one that doesn't work. I mean, I don't know that these are the passes you have to throw, because watch Reggie Brooks here. He just goes through his hand, and Corey Miller brings it. I mean, he not only hit him, he put his arm around his neck, and then he got all pumped up with himself there. I think they better start stopping him and not worrying about getting himself pumped up so much.
3rd and 14. Here's Freeze to throw. Incomplete to Desmond Howard. Scrambled for the ball, but the pass was incomplete.
You know, a guy that's really been all over the place is that John Booty.
He really has.
I mean, he almost had 2 interceptions in the end zone. We saw him on a hit on Reggie Brooks, and then just making a play right here.
He's the thinking man, safety man.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. He's right back here, and we just watch him here. He's just reading the quarterback. Then he reads the pattern. He gets a jump on it. He sees that crossing pattern, and he got a jump. And he almost pulled everything off of Desmond Howard's shoulders.
From 35 yards away, Lohmiller. And this time he is good. And the Giant lead is now cut to 1. The sold-out Giant Stadium with this game as close as it is, 24-23. Giants leading, and Chip Lohmiller set to kick off in the direction of Thomas Lewis and Arthur Marshall.
They're all going to stay here until the Redskins punt. They're not going home until the Redskins punt.
Well, they keep moving the ball like they've been, and they'll be here spending the night. Ball bounced off the deep man. Lewis, he is taken down short of the 20-yard line. 12:59 left to play.
Fast done,
This
Todd.
is done against the Atlanta Falcons in 1985. Check out Ron Jaworski. The slant route to Mike Quick. Cuts across, breaks the defenders. He's gone. 70 yards. There's nobody there. He goes the distance. 23-17. Overtime victory over the Falcons in that one. He's waving goodbye, but hello to the record book.
That made Quick the 6th man.
Madden back at Giant Stadium. And the Giants hanging on to a 1-point lead, 24-23. They have the ball at their own 19-yard line. 13 minutes, 12:59 to be exact left to play. 1st and 10. Galloway in a motion. Brown gives to Meggett. Meggett outside the 20, 21 perhaps. Stopped by Tim Johnson again. He does look like he's enjoying being back.
Well, you know, you get frustrated. You know, a big guy, anyone with a hamstring, because once you pull a hamstring, you know, you can't see it. I mean, you walk around, you really don't limp, and you can walk and you can jog, but you just can't go all out, and you can't go enough to play professional football.
And it just won't get well.
It just frustrates the heck out of you.
Gerard was a man in motion. Mike Gerard drags his feet out of bounds, close to midfield at about the 48. Finally stopped by Darrell Green.
That was some throw by Dave Brown, too, Pat. I mean, he had a rush, and he kind of brought that thing out of there sideways. Like you say, Gerard is coming across in motion, and then you're not only going to see Gerard make a run there, but Callaway made a little block there that got him about 5 more yards. Watch it, Dave Brown. He's looking, searching. He's looking to the left. You see how he kind of threw that one sidearm?
That was a Bernie Kosar.
I know. He finally found the guy he wanted. Said, I'll get it to him one way or another.
Washington takes a timeout.
Who are you? First in line, number 1.
Is what got him in the end zone.
Those were 3 great efforts.
Freeze out of the reach of Ricky Irvin. Today's game was produced by Bob Stinner and directed by Sandy Grossman. The studio was produced by Scott Ackerson and directed by Bob Levy. The executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill.
Saying, where in the heck did that guy go? How did he get underneath me? I thought I read that thing perfectly.
2nd and 10. Desmond Howard split wide to the right. Henry Ellard. The ball go right through his arm. Right now, for a McDonald's game break, let's return to James Brown in our Hollywood studio.
All right, Pat. Well, Dion may have made his debut for the 49ers, but it's the perennial all-star Jerry Rice. Just for consistency, 8 catches, 83 yards. That score there makes it 27-10. San Francisco, that in the 4th. Back to the Meadowlands. And Pat.
Back here, the Giants lead the Redskins 31-23. Big 3rd down and 10 coming up for the Redskins. Freeze, who's had a hot day, back to throw. Man wide open is Ricky Irvins, and he'll get enough for the 1st.
You know, now that 2-point conversion is a big thing, Pat. Of course, if they didn't have that rule, the Redskins would have to think in terms of 2 scores here. Now they have to think in terms of a touchdown, and then, of course, they have to go for 2. That changes the whole game. That changes the strategy of the offense. It changes the strategy of the defense.
And with a score like this, it takes a lot of guesswork out of, do we go for 2 or not? He's got to, as you said. First, they've got to score. Brooks. Flag on the play, back behind the line of scrimmage. Carlton Bailey made the hit on Reggie Brooks.
You know, the thing that has really been killing the Redskins in this quarter is those penalties. Remember that one drive they had, that last drive, they had like 4 penalties. Here they're just getting another one. They just got a holding penalty.
Holding. Number 89 offense.
Ethan Horton, the tight end.
Here's Ethan Horton here. He's blocking against Corey Miller, number 57. You see him, he drives into him, trying to hold him. And then right there, I guess he just grabbed him as the ball carrier got there. I don't know. Looks like these officials are a little picky today on a couple of these calls.
1st and 20. Clock running with 5:55 left to play. 1st and 20. No blitz. Freeze. Behind him. Incomplete. John Booty, the defender.
Yeah, that was the area. There's another penalty flag, but that was the area that Norv Turner said they wanted to work on, is work on those safeties in the middle of the field. But that they had some real shots there.
Well, it doesn't do any good if you keep getting these penalties.
We got unsportsmanlike on the offense. Number 73, 68, involved in a chop block, 15-yard penalty, repeat first down.
What happens is if one guy has a defender engaged and he's blocking him, then the other offensive lineman can't come and cut him. So they'd have to say that it's on McKenzie right there.
That's what they say.
Yeah, you see, and what it was, they called it on Giesick cutting below as McKenzie hit him on top.
While he was engaged, they say.
I kind of think that's another touchy one there.
It's almost like they're looking for something to call.
But the Redskins must have, in their last 10 plays, had 7 penalties.
Freeze back to throw. It's still first down. That's Ricky Irvins dancing outside the 20. Run out by Michael Brooks. Not nearly enough for a first down. Finally, they get the second down anyway.
See, that's the thing that as a coach, it kills you. You know, you get things going. You have a plan. You have plays for 1st and 10, 2nd and long, 2nd and short, 3rd and long, 3rd and short. You don't have plays for, 1st and 30, and the penalties put you in those positions.
Freeze back to throw again. Dumps it to Irvin. Spun away from one tackler and got 2 or 3 yards, but they need a lot more than that. Michael Strahan.
Freeze has done the job today. His offensive line has done the job, but the Giants and Dave Brown have just kept coming back after him. There's Heath Schuler, the #1 draft choice that got all the money from the Redskins, and if John Freeze keeps playing like this, this first year will be a learning experience for Heath Schuler.
3rd and 17. Freeze has time again. Getting it to a situation. That's Ricky Irvin. Irvin is stopped by Jesse Armstead. They're going to have to punt this, the first Redskin punt of the day.
And Norv Turner is saying, it's not the defense that stopped us, it's the penalties that stopped us.
The offensive line has done a good job, as you pointed out, but you can't overcome all those penalties.
And I'm sure Norv Turner's talking about Freeze that on 3rd down you have to get the ball down the field, but
why
I think
put it
John
in the
Freeze
air?
has done a heck of a job.
Oh yeah, why put it in the air is what he's saying. You're not looking up for the first down. Roby, line drive, good kick. Handled by Lewis. Ridden to the ground by Johnny Thomas. Giant fans and most of the people on the Giant sideline think that should be a foul, that he wasn't given a fair chance to catch it. But he did catch it. That's Johnny Thomas right in his face.
Thomas Lewis has here. Johnny Thomas isn't going to let him catch a ball. In fact, the ball hit number 41, Johnny Thomas, before it got to Lewis.
And Lewis still handled it. And there was no flag. 1st and 10 Giants back at their own 28. Callaway is the man in motion, and they give to Megan. Megan wrestled down after maybe a yard. Stopped by Kurt Gobea.
Now the Giants need a couple of first downs here. Get the clock down to the 2-minute warning. The Redskins only have 2 timeouts left, so they want to take as much time off the clock as they can.
You told me there was nothing in that cloud. Look what came out of there.
Well, I know. It was in the cloud. Then the cloud moved, and then boom, up popped the moon.
Some guys up there untethered, aren't there?
Well, yeah, they used to tether them, and then they put them up there this time untethered. They got some pack on their back.
Gary Downs getting some playing time. And that's a carry he won't forget soon.
The first game he's been active. He's been on the roster of the Giants, but they didn't activate him for the first 2 games. And, of course, with Rodney Hampton hurt, then Downs was activated. And Probably his first carry right there.
And Tyrone Stowe made sure that he would remember it. There you hear that. And Meggett says, I get stronger as the game goes on.
But I'll tell you, with those rib cartilage, he is hurting right now. He's not getting any stronger. He's having a tough time breathing.
The drop play to down. They move the whole pile about 5 yards. They still don't get enough for the first down, but Gary Downs pushed everything, including Leonard Marshall and Andre Collins, who were on the bottom of that movable pile. And they'll get it down to the 2-minute warning. Washington has 2 timeouts left. The Giants have 3.
Serving up another great catch. Red Lobster presents the Catch of the Day. In Week 2 of the NFL, teams took to the air in a wide-open flying circus. Stay tuned for the Catch of the Day.
At Red Lobster during September, it's
their division rival, the New Orleans Saints. Check the local listings for the game and time in your area next Sunday right here on Fox Sports.
I'm going to get started right after this game, Pat, because I'm going to get on the bus, get on 80, and point it west.
Good luck.
We'll be in Iowa tomorrow.
Moran kicks it away from Mitchell. 1:52 left to play. There's a little skirmish out on the field. Referee got one leg in the air. That's dangerous. And glasses.
You don't mean to put one leg in the air. You usually get pushed or knocked that way. Usually have both feet in the ground. And then to go into a pile with that hat and those glasses, you have to have a whole heck of a lot of guts.
There's going to be a time that that hat is a collector's item.
Look at that. It has holes in the back of it, you see, so you can let air into your head if you need it. Like, I mean, if your head doesn't have any air, it can just go right in those holes, so you're always feeding air to your head, which makes for a better officiated game.
The head needs some air. Breeze to throw. Jumped too soon. Had it and lost it on the way down.
Yeah, the Redskins and Freeze have found some open areas, you know, at about 15 yards in this Giant defense, and they've hit that area in the middle like this, and that ball. I mean, Desmond Howard has to catch that ball. I mean, he just caught it too close to his body, and when you do that, then the ball hits your shoulder pads and bounces out. But they've hit the outs and the middle.
Freeze, there's a blitz coming. Freeze away from it. Gets the pass complete to Titus Winans. And Freeze is up in a hurry and saying to the rest of the team, let's get in a hurry.
Well, the Redskins still have 2 timeouts. And remember the 2-point rule.
A minute 20 left to play. Freeze to throw it. Swings it outside. Ricky Irvins, and Irvins stays inbound. And gets about 4 yards. And Freeze said, let's hurry back.
I think they meant to swing that out to Ricky Irvins and have Ricky Irvins get out of bounds.
No question about it.
Freeze almost lined up behind his guard.
There's Freeze back to throw. Gets it out. And Irvins this time does get out of bounds to stop the clock with less than a minute left.
Yeah, but that one there, you would have liked a step or 2 more before you get out of bounds, because you want to get a first down too. I mean, you just can't stop the clock. You want to be able to get first downs along the way. Irvins left about 2 or 3 yards here that Freeze has to now pick up on this 3rd down. But again, the Redskins still have 2 timeouts, so they have plenty of time.
55 seconds, 2 timeouts. They have to go about 62 yards, or 58 yards rather. They're at their own 42, the draw play. They don't get the first down, I don't believe. Maybe they did. But now they've got to take a timeout. Yes, they did get a first down. Clock stopped.
See, when Irvins didn't go out of bounds, then they had to run this play to get a first down. So they run a delay in behind Jim Lachey. See, he did Strahan. He gets him coming up the field, and then John Booty has to come from the secondary to make the play.
And they have flag on the play. That'll stop the clock. 40 seconds left. Motion, maybe. Boy, the penalties have hurt the Redskins today.
I know. If you just look at the second half penalties alone.
Number 80 offense, 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Desmond Howard. Freeze is 30 out of 45 for 346 yards, a career high. That's the penalty situation. Washington 10 times for 85 yards. Seems like more than that. First and 15.
Well, and 6 of those penalties were in the second half.
There is John Freeze back to throw. At midfield, it's Ethan Horton, and they'll have to burn another timeout. Not this time, perhaps, but pretty soon. 2nd and 5.
Well, they don't have their wide receivers back.
Freeze waiting, waving for them to get set. Throws it down and stops the clock. And escape without a penalty.
Right, and Freeze is upset with his wide receivers because he was trying to get him up there in the line and get that ball dead, and the guys were kind of walking back to the huddle. The guy he was really mad at was Orlando Truitt. Linens, they just didn't get back.
20 seconds remain. 3rd down and 5. Right at midfield. Well, that's over everybody. Jesse Campbell was the nearest Giant. 13 seconds left. They still have one timeout, the Redskins.
There's Norv Turner again. He's one of the head coaches that calls the plays. He's calling this a last 4th down play, giving the play to John Freeze. These are 2 well-coached teams that are always going to be competitive, and they're always fun to watch.
They need 5 for a first. They need 50 to have a chance to tie it. Freeze. And the first down to Henry Ellard. And now they'll take that timeout. Ellard at the 25. 6 seconds left.
And again, you see they're going to give Ellard a cushion, and it's right in that area where the Redskins have been successful all day, about 15 yards. Either 15 yards in the middle or 15 yards on the out. They've been able to hit that stuff all day. Now with 6 seconds left, they're going to have to throw this ball in the end zone.
And should they get it into the end zone, they would try for the 2 points, I'm sure, with no time on the clock.
Yeah,
that's right. Headed for overtime.
Because if they do score, even though there's no time in the clock, then they still get to go for the extra